Like a million?
Oh, I think so.
Maybe, okay, let's just say it's a million.
Yes.
The fact that a million Koreans would watch my work,
Yes.
and then you can translate that. Again, I was recently in South America, traveling in South America, in small
Yeah.
cities,
They
and
love
people,
you.
yes, and people would come up to me in Peru, and so when you have that experience of a wide net of internationally that people see your work, it just changed my life. And there was a lot of challenging things to address with that as well. You know, those changes are very, very big, and sometimes you don't want them. You know, so that was a very big growth period, and also growth period for me artistically. You know, because it's not easy to continue a strong creative practice when you do the same kind of work and play the same character for this long a period of time is very challenging.
Yes. Yeah.
But I am infinitely grateful.
Good. It's really good. In 2006, you received Golden Globe Award. Yes.
Yes.
And the Golden Globe goes to...
Sandra Oh, Grey's Anatomy.
I feel like someone set me on fire. Thank you so much to the Hollywood Foreign Press, and thank you to the crew of Grey's Anatomy. Thank you so much.
How did you feel about it?
I share this with, and the writers and producers.
That I
and
can
especially
say,
Shonda Rhimes. Thank you for writing
that was
this.
one of the best
Thank you
moments
for
of my
letting me
career.
It means so much to me.
I had
thank you
so
to my
much
team
adrenaline. I remember
who
this.
supported me for so
Physically,
many
I had
years.
so much adrenaline running through my body.
I don't
I
remember
think I
any of
drank,
your
I don't know,
names.
5 bottles of champagne, and I was just straight, like nothing could affect me. And then the next 4 days, I was at work and I couldn't get up.
Really?
Because I had so much adrenaline that just burst through my body, and then I was completely exhausted. But it felt great.
Lovely.
It was just wonderful. It's just wonderful to be in a room with all your peers, and you know, you put so much work into something, and it's also at this point in some ways a body of work, because you've been working, and I've been working in this town for a long time, and it's, to have that recognition was it was great. It was great. Yeah.
So may I ask, is there any award you want to receive?
It's not so much that, it's like, it's the type of work that I would want to do.
Yes.
You know, that's really, for me, it's really important to have work that is worthy to be to participate in.
Yes. As a great supporter of you, I asked that question because, you know, you were nominated for Emmy 5 times? Consecutive
Yes,
5 times?
times, yes.
So, you know, every time I
know.
had my bigger cruise, and it didn't happen. So, yes, I think you were so unfortunate.
Thank you. I wish I won too. Yeah.
But
the
you,
thing is,
you're qualified.
But the thing is, all those things, you know, things come and go. I mean,
Whatever happens.
I mean, I want to win, but
Yes.
yeah, I want to be nominated. But you know, if it isn't, you have to have a bigger perspective.
Since you love your career.
Yeah, I do.
That's true.
1993년 영화 데뷔작인 에블린 로의 일기에서 약물 중독자 매춘부라는 파격적인 배역을 완벽히 소화. 평단의 극찬을 받으며 캐나다를 대표하는 연기파 배우로 떠오른 산드라 어. 이듬해 중국계 캐나다 여성의 성장기를 그린 영화 이중 행복으로 각종 연기상을 휩쓴 그녀는 1995년 헐리우드 진출을 선언. 이후 작은 역할도 마다하지 않고 10년 동안 미스터 빈, 프린세스 다이어리 등 40여 편의 작품에 단역으로 출연하며 착실히 자신의 필모그래피를 쌓은 산드라 어.
Well, I'm Korean from Earth. Why do you think that is? A massive international medical. I have gone blind.
그녀는 전 남편 알렉산더 페인이 연출한 2004년 영화 사이드웨이를 통해 배우로서 자신의 이름을 알리기 시작했고 헐리우드 진출 10년째가 되던 2005년 그레이 아나토미의 출연으로 자신의 전성기를 연다. 그레이 아나토미에 출연 이후 수많은 아시아계 배우들의 롤 모델이 된 헐리우드 최고의 스타 산드라 오. 지금도 독립영화와 상업영화의 경계를 넘나들며 활발한 활동을 펼치고 있는 그녀는 더 높은 곳을 향한 화려한 비상을 준비 중이다.
So let's talk about your childhood.
Oh boy.
So you grew up between Korean parents, and how was your childhood like?
I gotta say,
you
no,
get
I know,
thirsty.
I know, yeah, I'm thirsty. Before I launch into this one,
Yes,
I can honestly say that I had a great childhood.
you did.
I did. I had a great childhood, and I absolutely know that one of the reasons why I'm here, like right now,
Yes.
is because I have fantastic parents and because of my family.
I
You know, it's in some ways I had a very, very typical first generation upbringing. I grew up in a small town in Canada. My parents both worked. I'm the middle of 3 children. Education is extremely important. Or as I maybe mature, so grateful for that.
So you said you dreamt to be an artist since you were young, quite young. So when did you find exactly you wanna be an artist?
It was young.
Do you remember?
Yeah. So 2 things happened for me. When I was 8, my parents took me to see the musical of Annie.
Oh,
Do you remember that?
yes.
And there were little girls like me, like my age, singing and dancing on the stage. And I was just like, oh my God, what is that? So that and a television show called Fame that was based on the Alan Parker film of the same title, Fame.
I see.
And it was about, in some ways, it was my generation's Glee, where it was about these students at PA, which is the Performing Arts High School in New York, LaGuardia, and it absolutely changed my life because I was dancing at the time. I really wanted to be a dancer. I took ballet. I was very serious about
Yes,
it.
yes.
But
You took ballet lessons?
yes, I did.
Yes.
Yes, I did. But at the time, when you're about 10, when you should go away to professional schools, I knew that I wasn't good enough. I knew it. I just knew it. Even though I wanted it, I
Yeah.
knew it.
Yeah.
And then so when I was 10, I started acting.
I see.
And then it all kind of put together.
So when your parents found you want to major in drama, what was their reaction?
Their experience, their immigrant experience, and what they believe in, and what their moral beliefs in, and what they think is important in life, which is education, stability, blah, 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 blah. The fact that I was making this choice made them very, very anxious, and they didn't want it. And they also did not want me, and they said this numerous times, and I really, really felt so grateful for it. It's like, we do not want you to get your heart broken.
Oh, important.
Very important.
Yes.
I mean, what else are you going to want to do?
Yes.
You know, but protect your child from obvious. You're going to go out into a community and an industry where you're so the minority, and
Yes.
there's a
And
lot of things you
women.
can't, and yeah, and you
Yes.
can't change those things. So why are you going to go suffer? So those challenges, and they were tough about it.
Awesome.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
tough about it. They did not want me to do that, and they were tough about it.
Yeah, so how did you persuade them then?
I didn't persuade them. I just did what I wanted to do.
You just did what you
Yeah,
want?
because there's some bigger things that
Why
are
they
going on. You
concerned?
have
What
to do
did-
it. You have to do
Yes.
it. You have to do it. If you have to do it, you have to do it.
I see. So your parents just gave up?
No, I was so lucky. I was so lucky because early on in my career, still when I was in my very early 20s, when I was 20, 21,
Yes.
I did this film for television called The Diary of Evelyn Lau. So when I did that, you know, I got myself out of debt because I paid for my student loan.
Yes.
It was, you know, it aired all in Canada. I was on the cover of a magazine, you know, so it was like, it was a real step in a career, and in a career that I could possibly continue. You know, they didn't have to wait for all those tiny little things that I was going to do. It was like, this is what I do. This is what I want to do. This is what it is. And when they saw it, you know, my sister had to prepare them. It was a very difficult story because it's about this young woman, this Vancouver poet, who, when she was 14, she ran away from home and ended up on the streets and became a prostitute and a drug addict. It's very similar to the Basketball Diaries. And my sister prepared them, and and this is also why I love my parents. The subject matter was difficult. So the week after, my parents went to church, and some people didn't talk to them. And then they were furious. They were furious. They were furious.
Yes.
Because also after that point, just when they saw the work, they realized that wasn't easy. I mean, that was their nightmare.
you.
That was their nightmare. It's like, don't become an actor because you'll become a prostitute or a drug addict. And then I play a prostitute and a drug addict. So,
Yes.
but that's when I think they started understanding the purpose.
So the Diary of Evelyn, is it the film you debuted through?
Yes. That was really my first career film, yes.
As an actress?
Yes.
And that was successful?
Yes.
After you was successful with your first project, Diary of Evelyn, was it easy for you to get a leading role afterward?
So when I came out of school, I had all this work, fantastic projects, fantastic parts, and I just thought that is exactly what my life was going to be, like forever. Like great roles, demanding, creatively satisfying. And so after the success of those films, and then I did Oleana, I did which is David Mamet play. I did a bunch of plays in Toronto. Double Happiness came down to Los Angeles and was picked up by Fine Line, which was the smaller distribution house from New Line.
Yes.
And I was just like, okay, I guess I'll just come down to LA for a second. You know what I mean? I was like 23 at the time, and came down for like a week or so, and that turned into a month, and that turned into 6 months, and then lived on people's couches. Classic thing. And then I got an agent, and then.
Where, in Los Angeles?
Yeah. And then I got this pilot for HBO, and then the pilot was picked up. It was at the very beginning of original programming for HBO, and I came down to Los Angeles, and that was in the summer. That was in 1996.
So when you were stable in Toronto, you just moved to Hollywood.
Yes.
But it just happened accidentally. Not
Almost,
proposed.
yes.
So you were successful from the beginning.
Well, it's also, I mean, I'll ask you the question, what do you define success? Like that it was seen, or that it obviously didn't make any money, didn't make any money? Like, what do you mean by success? How was that?
You interview me.
Yeah.
The definition of success for me is happiness.
Oh, very, very, very successful. That for me started everything off. For me, that was in some ways the blueprint
Yes.
of my experience as an actor, and how I measured almost every single experience after that.
Yeah. What is your definition of success?
My definition of success is to always be able to shop at Whole Foods, and which is a terribly overpriced organic store. Yes. And to be able to bring my family, because we all don't live in the same, country.
Oh, yes.
But so to be able to travel, so my whole family can come together for the rest of my life. For me, that is the definition of success.
You can. Anytime.
Hopefully. But I gotta tell you, Whole Foods is,
So it's very
So basically,
simple.
yeah, it's simple.
You can do it anytime. No?
Well,
Because you're busy?
I had to
You
keep
can't-
on making money to shop at Whole Foods.
You have enough money already to buy a Whole Food.
Well,
Sorry to say this.
yeah. So I'd say yes, and then, of course, to constantly, grow in every area.
Yes.
Artistically, spiritually, in your heart, with your family. That's for me. Yeah.
So every path you took
Yes.
is so lucky.
Yes.
How is it possible?
I don't know. Obviously, it's not like it hasn't had its challenges, because after that kind of success, then I would say that I went through a long period before Grey's, and who knows after Grey's, a long period of struggling. And the most common question that I get is like, oh, what is your experience as an Asian American female actor,
Yes, yes.
and all that stuff, and and all of it is true. Anything that you can imagine. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's frustrating. Yes, it's exhausting. But it's not like not like I don't pay attention to that because you're confronted with it all the time. But there's a bigger picture here, and you just have to be aligned with that bigger picture.